Good afternoon, everyone. Virgo here again. Today, I want to make sure that I go over some of these articles that I have not had the opportunity to share with you guys. So back on the 25th of May, there was a really interesting article that seemed to kind of just pass by. Nobody really talked about it. It was from the Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty website. And this is particularly important because we have this growing epidemic of movements that are about dividing our countries, not just this country, the United States, but also several other countries. And there's some things that are linking these groups together that I'm not sure whether or not everyone's aware of. So I'm going to go through this article, and I'm going to read it to the best of my ability. Some of these names I might mispronounce. They're Russian names, and you know that I am pronunciation girl. So please bear with me while I try to get through this. I think this is very important to what this channel tries to draw attention to. It's something that seems to be a bit of a hint that we may need to look at here in the near future. So this article is about Russia's growing movement of what they're calling Soviet citizens. Does that sound kind of familiar? And again, this is a name that they've given to themselves. This is not government created. That is my understanding after looking into this. So Konstantin Yatkin has never acknowledged the Soviet collapse. For the past 28 years, I've tried to live in this country called Russia, he says, but in my heart, I still live there in the Soviet Union. The words may sound banal in a country where 2/3 of the population profess nostalgia for the former empire, motivated by economic concerns and the absence of a welfare state. But Yadkin does not simply make miss the Soviet Union, rather. He actively denies its breakup and claims to obey only its laws, and now a vibrant cottage industry is helping legitimize his discontent. Sitting behind the steering wheel of his Mercedes in central Moscow on a recent afternoon, he produces a brand new Soviet passport. Date of issue, March 9th, 2019. It looks identical to the real thing, with a stamp bearing the Soviet emblem, a black and white photograph, and hammers and sickles on each 2-page spread. It came, he says, with a red and white sticker now stuck to his windshield. I am a citizen of the USSR, it reads. Yadkin is among a loose but growing network of Russians prone to conspiratorial thinking and ready to use quasi-legal arguments in an effort to evade laws and taxes. They believe their government was usurped by venal outside sources and disavow the system of numbers and documents that identify them as citizens. At banks, police stations, and inside courtrooms across the country, people calling themselves citizens of the USSR demand their right to impunity before the legal system of the Russian Federation, a state they neither recognize nor apparently fear. This is a picture of Konstantin. The internet, which only reaches the masses after the Soviet collapse, is now helping spread their basic conspiracy theory that a document dissolving the Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, the RSFSR, a constituent republic of the Soviet Union, and signed on December 25th, 1991 by its then president Boris Yeltsin, is illegal. I'm at the point, guys, where I feel like maybe I just need to stop reading these things because evidently, coffee or not, I seem to be getting worse, not better, with my pronunciation here. I apologize. Okay, let me give it another shot here. Yadkin has long felt like a stranger in his own country, But around 6 months ago, his disillusionment reached a head and he began scouring the web for validation. I was looking for information and like-minded people, he says. I knew I couldn't continue living in a country like this. On a website that claims to represent the MVD-SSSR, the Soviet Interior Ministry, he filled out an application form and paid 3,800 rubles, $58, to receive his Soviet passport. The organization, which uses the Soviet.su domain but lists no address other than identifying other identifying details other than Moscow RSFSR, told RFE/RL in an email that it has issued more than 10,000 such passports since early 2018. On YouTube, Yatkin found hundreds of channels peddling conspiracy theories that Russia's an offshore company registered in Delaware, that President Vladimir Putin was killed in 2012 and replaced by a body double, that the Soviet Union and its ministries are being resurrected. Some gave him convincing explanations of the inequality he was witnessing in Russia. But beyond feeding widespread Soviet nostalgia and disillusionment, the channels also promote ways newly minted Soviet citizens can skirt Russian laws, open bank accounts, and evade taxes. Bloggers harass parliamentary deputies on camera, prank call government ministries, set up bank accounts using Soviet passports, and ridicule traffic cops who stop them for displaying illicit Soviet registration plates. Some of these channels have hundreds of thousands of followers. The most popular video on the YouTube channel, Provoked TV, Jurist TV, which claims to offer practical tips and advice for citizens of the USSR. It's titled How to Legally Avoid Paying Off Debt. It has 2.8 million views. As legal authorities, it cites Wikipedia and Russian online dictionaries. Now, I'm not going to continue because this is very, very long. There are also a lot of videos that you can watch. I'm going to link this in the description of the video. Okay, so let's talk for just a minute about why this is so important. First of all, I'm sure you can see how this is very parallel to the movements that we watch on the Virgo Triad channel. What is the connection? So you know already that there are many other countries, including countries in Europe, and now we're looking at Russia, the United States, of course, Canada. We've seen the Netherlands. We have seen they're just, honestly, there are just too many to even name right now. But we're talking about parallel movements, and these are largely movements that are coming up over since about 2017, with the exception of the ones in the United States and in Canada. So the purpose behind dividing the countries, just think about it for a minute. The interference in elections, the false narratives that are put up across social media, on the web, and even on news channels to some extent, promoting conspiracy theories. I think we really need to take a hard look at this. Was anyone else aware of the fact that there is a group of individuals, 10,000 strong already since 2018, calling themselves Soviet citizens in Russia? Quite interesting. All right, everyone, this will do it for me today. I apologize for the constant interruptions of my lack of being able to read lately. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.